welcome back to my channel. In this episode, we're going to discuss 2 things we wish we knew while we were in varsity and 2 things we learned since we started work. Let's get into it.
The 2 things I wish I knew coming to university is how to manage my own time without parental guidance. Because when you're out there, it's a dog-eat-dog world, and it's up to you to actually know what to do and how to navigate through that. And the other thing is classrooms. Lecturers can let you go anytime, or you just basically stand up and go. But then the thing that I wish I knew was staying in class and comprehending the content that I'm getting from class would actually help much. But sometimes I get bored, I go out of class, or I get hungry, I go out. And I wish I knew how to do better and stay and navigate life in university.
So the first thing I wish I knew was how to drive. Guys, you have so much time when you're at varsity to get that license, and when you start working, it's not easy. So in varsity you have all this time, all these free periods between classes where you can actually go to driving school. Once you start working, you are 8 to 5, you're in the office, you don't have time. 6 okwatoka, the sun is gone. So you need to spend your weekends learning how to drive, and it's just harder because you can't get the Mondays or whatever's off just to keep going to Natis, and you will keep going to Natis if you're like me. Some people were lucky. Sephora got it on her first try. But guys, the second thing is which speaks into Stimela's one is time management. You know, you can go to class 30 minutes late and still make it. Work, you must be there at 8 o'clock. And some of us are very tardy, so it was really hard for me to adjust. And I wish I knew time management and time discipline while I was in varsity.
Being a young black person, one thing I wish I knew better was how to manage people's expectations. Or something I wish I had learned earlier is managing people's expectations. Because when you work, doesn't matter what you do, but as long as people hear that you have a job, everybody has their own certain idea of how you're supposed to be. So at this point, I just wish I knew better and how to actually handle those things, because at this point where I am, I've basically filtered it, but it's mind over matter, and you should mind what matters essentially. Secondly, I think I wish I had better financial literacy. I wish I knew how to handle money better, or I had taken the time to actually really learn a lot about money and how to handle it. Because in the beginning, it was reckless. I think in the beginning it was reckless. I'm not saying I'm good now or I'm an expert on the topic. I'm just saying that had I known what I know now, then when I started, it would have been way better than it is, if so to say, yeah.
I really wish I knew how important exposure was when I was in varsity, especially work exposure. Being work exposed, I think, is very important because it really helps you transition between being a student to being a professional, young professional. And I really wish I had taken the time every holiday that I had to look for a job. It doesn't really matter what field or area it is, waitering, whatever. It was going to be a very good experience for me, because it was going to train me and prepare me to actually reduce the feeling of inadequacy and also just be proactive, have an understanding of what it is that you needed to do to be resourceful, and also to grasp certain concepts very fast, because it's one of the greatest challenges that we have, to grasp our expectations and our responsibilities. The other thing is I wish I knew how to make a dollar, because right now, I mean, as a young black child, we come from very different backgrounds, but we have one common denominator. And when we come to varsity, our parents tell us that you need to go to varsity and find a job and work, otherwise you're going to suffer. So for us, it's when we graduate, we think it's all vacation and stuff, but it's a totally different game. Life is not about, lavish lifestyles and vacations and stuff. That complements life, but the most important thing is to know how to invest and know how to make money work for you, so that you don't end up in the same position, or you don't give yourself the same background as you came from.
Number one is how to manage my finances. I wish that there was a module for finance management. From primary school, high school, that we are exposed to, so that we know how to manage our finances better. Because when I started working, my first pay, I went to Pick and Pay. This was true. Took that big trolley, and then I put in every food that I have been craving. Marshmallows. I didn't even understand why I was taking those things, but I was being reckless, so to say, with money. And number two is that I wish I knew that I needed a mentor that is in the same field, somebody that could guide me and help me navigate through the working environment.
One of the two things I've learned where I am now in the work environment or in society is that we need to be diversified in terms of culture, because in a work environment you work with a lot of people from different cultural backgrounds. So knowing how to float within that culture or environment within the workplace of different people from different backgrounds, it's quite important. It's one of the wonderful things that I've learned, that I am capable of working with people from different environments, with different cultural backgrounds. And the secondary thing that I've learned is that being in a work environment, what you do, your profession, should not be the only guiding factor in what you are doing, because you find yourself in a division whereby you are lacking a certain skill, and you should perhaps learn it or help out wherever you can. So you should not be confined to your job description. You should be guided by the objective that you stand within that organization. You know, where I am, for example, in Amota, we are serving water to the nation. That means I shouldn't just say, I can't fix your computer, but it should be guided to that my objective should always, if anybody is to walk in and say, what is it that you do at Namwater, for example, I would say, I serve the nation by giving them water, edible water, ready for consumption, not basically to be confined to, no, I'm an IT guy.
I learned that I should always have a skill that is an added advantage, so that when I am going for any interview, they have a reason to hire me among all my other peers. And number two is that I should always align my goals to the organization, not wait for the organization to align their goals to mine, because I am responsible for my own development and advancement in my own career.
So in terms of me, I think lesson number one is do what you love, and you'll never have to work a day in your life. The moment you do something that that you feel you're forced to do, or you feel somebody pressured you into going that line of a profession, you'll make decisions that you'll always regret, if so to say. So advice number one is do what you love, or branch into things that interest you, that bring out your passion, and at the end of the day it will never have to be a working day. Lesson number two that I think I've learned throughout now, it would be, if you're gonna be good, be great. In whatever you do, always have the yearning to learn, always have the yearning to do better, and don't be afraid to ask, or don't be afraid to ask for feedback on the things that you do, because it is only through learning that you can actually go into the places or into the positions where you know your superiors are. And if that's what you're working towards, you've got to stand out to a certain extent, and that can only happen if you actually work, if you actually go the extra mile, if so to say. So yeah,
I've learned that it's very important to have a routine. it's very important to have a routine. One thing I've learned is that the mind works on the principle of a routine. Your comfort zone is a routine because you go through that cycle every single day. Most of your life, you adopt that routine. So having a routine, a constructive routine rather, is very important because it allows you to align your mind towards your aspirations and the things that you really want. It also sets you in, catapults you towards your goals and your aspirations. It also makes you get out of your comfort zone. For example, work gets busy 8 to 5, but after that you really want something to do. There is nothing wrong with having a social life, but have other things, like my colleague said, to have an added advantage, to be passionate about something, always learn something new, and it could really get you places. The other thing is have a dynamic basis of knowledge empowerment. By that I mean, do not think that your work environment or what you studied before is enough. It's very important that you know a little bit about everything, so that you just expand your mind. You can never get enough exposure. Lifelong learning is a continual process. You learn to relearn, you unlearn to relearn, you do all these things. So always keep learning and teaching yourself new skills and new concepts of everything.
Things I have learned and I'm grateful for is the fact that even though not everyone at your workplace is your friend, or not everyone at your workplace has the best interest at heart for you, you will find some people that are there for you and genuinely care about you. People that want to be your friend and not just your colleague. So find those people and try and stay as far away from office politics as you can. Especially if you're new and just coming into an organization. Stay away from office politics because it could make or break your career. The second thing is, even though your work, your employment, your boss pays you at the end of the month and they are your source of financial freedom, make sure that your work does not kill you. You're not the only one. Make sure that your mental health is still good. Don't kill yourself. If you die, just drop dead. Next week there will be an advert for your position. So do not make work your priority. Still spend time with your family, your friends, but it is important. I'm not saying don't care about work, but also take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. Take care of your friendships, your relationships.
And also know that if the organization does no longer serve your interest, leave. And most importantly, get a mentor. It's important.
That is all from us. We would like to thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to my panelists for your time, your knowledge, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Follow me on Instagram as Dalahola Manjula, on Twitter, Ndi Gumina. And from us,